Okay. Well, I'm not scheduled yet. I don't know, 23 minutes before I scheduled it, but so I'm gonna go and start this, and I'm gonna go write the comment on here. Hey, everyone. Okay. Right. Okay. And I hope everybody's had a good day so far. Um, now, I'm gonna go pop up the video, first video.
The
Okay.
interactions with law. Harassment is a serious issue that affects many people. Harassment is a serious issue that affects many people in various aspects of their lives, whether it's in your community, interactions with law enforcement at work, or in daily life. Dealing with harassment can be challenging and emotionally draining. In this video, we'll explore strategies to help you coexist when facing harassment and discuss ways to fight against it. First, let's define harassment. Harassment is any unwanted behavior that makes you feel intimidated, humiliated, or offended. It can take many forms, including verbal abuse, physical intimidation, discrimination, or persistent, unwanted attention. Harassment can occur in different contexts. In your community, it might involve neighbors, local groups, or strangers. With law enforcement, it could be unfair targeting or excessive use of authority. At work, harassment might come from colleagues, supervisors, or clients. In general life, it can happen anywhere from public spaces to online platforms. Understanding the impact of harassment is crucial. It can affect your mental health, self-esteem, and overall quality of life. Recognizing these effects is the first step in developing strategies to cope and fight back. Now let's discuss strategies for coexisting when facing harassment. One important approach is to remain calm and composed when possible. This can be challenging, but responding emotionally may escalate the situation. Instead, try to maintain a neutral demeanor and avoid engaging with the harasser directly if it's safe to do so. Another strategy is to set clear boundaries. Communicate firmly and clearly that the behavior is unwanted and unacceptable. Use phrases like "stop harassing me" or "your behavior is inappropriate and must end." Be direct and leave no room for misinterpretation. It's also crucial to know your rights. Familiarize yourself with anti-harassment laws and policies in your area, workplace, and other relevant settings. This knowledge can empower you to take appropriate action when necessary. When dealing with harassment from law enforcement, it's important to remain respectful while asserting your rights. If possible, record interactions, ask for badge numbers, and request to speak with a supervisor if you feel unfairly treated. In the workplace, document all incidents of harassment. Keep a detailed record of dates, times, locations, and descriptions of what occurred. Report the harassment to your human resources department or appropriate supervisor following your company's procedures. Building a support network is essential when facing harassment. Reach out to trusted friends, family members, or support groups who can offer emotional support and practical advice. Having allies can make a significant difference in coping with the stress of harassment. Consider seeking professional help if the harassment is affecting your mental health. A therapist or counselor can provide coping strategies and help you process your experiences. When it comes to fighting harassment, there are several approaches you can take. One effective method is to document everything. Keep records of all incidents, including dates, times, locations. If possible, gather evidence such as emails, text messages, or witness statements. Use official channels to report harassment. This might involve filing complaints with relevant authorities such as the police, your employer's HR department, or anti-discrimination agencies. Be persistent and follow up on your complaints. Consider legal action if the harassment continues or if other methods have been ineffective. Consult with a lawyer who specializes in harassment cases to understand your options and rights. Advocacy and raising awareness can also be powerful tools in fighting harassment. Share your experiences, if you feel comfortable doing so, to help others understand the impact of harassment. Support or join organizations that work to combat harassment and discrimination. Remember, self-care is crucial when dealing with harassment. Engage in activities that reduce stress and promote well-being, such as exercise, meditation, or hobbies you enjoy. Prioritize your mental and physical health throughout this challenging process. In conclusion, dealing with harassment is never easy, but there are strategies you can employ to coexist and fight back. Stay informed about your rights, document incidents, build a support network, and don't hesitate to seek help when needed. Remember, you're not alone in this struggle, and there are resources and support available to help you navigate these difficult situations. By standing up against harassment, you not only protect yourself but also contribute to creating a more respectful and inclusive society for everyone.
Okay. Um, Obviously, we're not going to put up with harassment, and there are ways to tackle it. I'm going to go put the invite on here for anyone who will possibly in the future want to possibly talk, if anyone wants to talk tonight. Okay. And the next one I did is one of my little Mac and Dog skits. So I will put the next one up, and we'll go from there.
Someone is always there, right behind you, but you just can't see them? Today, we dive into the challenging world of targeted individuals.
Right, Mac. And it's not just about feeling watched. We're talking surveillance, harassment, and psychological manipulation. It's a lot to unpack.
Absolutely, Dog. So let's jump right in and explore who these targeted individuals, or TIs, really are. You see, TIs report experiencing constant surveillance and harassment by unknown entities.
And that's where my concerns come in. We're dealing with a phenomenon that's hard to pin down. Without concrete evidence, it's difficult to validate these experiences or hold anyone accountable.
Well, actually, many TIs have taken to documenting incidents and preserving evidence. It's not easy, but it's a step toward legitimizing their claims. They point to historic examples like COINTELPRO and the Stasi, which used similar tactics.
True, but drawing historical parallels can only go so far. Modern-day technology makes surveillance more seamless and difficult to detect. The legal protections, although present, often fall short in these scenarios.
That's why knowing your legal rights is so important. The Constitution and state laws do offer protections against harassment and surveillance. Documenting everything meticulously and seeking legal counsel can make a significant difference.
Well, even if you have the law on your side, the court system can be a maze. Legal jargon, delays. Do TIs really have the resources to navigate this effectively?
Many don't, Dog, but understanding how to leverage these resources, like filing complaints and possibly pursuing litigation, is empowering. Plus, public advocacy can also play a crucial role in raising awareness and fostering change.
Advocacy is great, but we can't overlook the emotional and psychological toll on these individuals. Resilience is key, but how do you build that when you're constantly under duress?
Resilience, right? It's about more than just surviving. It's about thriving. Self-care practices, support groups, and a community that understands can make a world of difference. Coexisting with those who perpetrate these actions while maintaining your sanity is a delicate balance to strike.
You mentioned pathways to justice and coexistence. Do you really think justice is attainable in these cases?
It's a tough road, no doubt, but advocating for change on both personal and systemic levels is necessary. Creating safe spaces and fostering a supportive community are essential steps. It's about empowering individuals to fight for their rights and coexist peacefully.
That's an optimistic take, Mac. I hope we see some tangible results because the idea of being perpetually targeted with no recourse is distressing.
It is, dog. But as we conclude today's episode, we need to keep hope alive. Being a targeted individual is undoubtedly challenging, but strength and community can lead us toward justice.
We hope today's episode gave you some valuable insights. If you're a TI or know someone who is, reach out for support. It's a tough path, but remember, you're not alone.
That's right, dog. And for our listeners, thank you for joining us on this important journey. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for more discussions on this and other pressing issues. Together, we can amplify voices and advocate for change.
Take care, everyone. Stay strong and keep fighting the good fight.
Yeah, you're not alone here with me. I definitely am somebody who will listen to you. I've been going through this for at least a decade. It's a very unfortunate thing. I I don't know, in the beginning of my struggle with dealing with the harassment, I didn't really know what to turn to. And the internet actually was a good source of information to figure out what I was going through. I think I would have lost my mind if I didn't have the right resources and the right people to talk to explain to me that this is a systematic program that's out here to make you lose your mind, basically. Um, I had a lot of good resources in 2018, which I appreciate. And I would give them shouts out periodically. I'd really like to see their content back on here, but if some of the people from the past don't want to come back on and spread the message, they have their own reasons why they don't. Um, but I really think that at the end of the day, you can do an awful lot of things to be beneficial towards other people, whether it's speaking the truth, which is something I do, um, or sharing knowledge, which is obviously something that I do as well, um, and just helping people out. None of us deserve this. There isn't, I don't know, like I couldn't imagine there's really that many people in this world that deserve to be harassed. And even if somebody felt that, I still don't think they deserve to have the type of harassment we deal with. Um, like I've said before, most of these people that harassed me, they couldn't walk 1 mile in my shoes. They'd probably ball up in tears. But I've been going through this for a long time, and I've learned how to cope with it. I would say one of the first things that we need to do is that we need to have support networks. If you don't have support networks like these online communities, um, I don't know exactly where you're going to get the resources or the information about what's happening. So we definitely need the online support networks. And we need to work in cooperation with one another. Like I've put my message out to people that I want to do collaborations with them, and I think the more voices out there, especially that make more entertaining videos, where, like, let's go say I'm here and I'm talking to somebody else, and we can speak each other's message, throughout the conversation, and we're able to express what I'm going through, what you're going through, and that helps each other understand each other better. And then maybe I have tips that could help your life better. Maybe you have tips that can make my life better through different types of advice that we can give one another. And I think that's another way to help us coexist with one another. I see we have three people on here as obviously I'm on it. is there anyone on here that has any kind of input that they would like to add to this? Because I can keep going on my opinion. We obviously need that stuff going on. We need the help from other people, the support network, definitely. We I think also maybe like if you are in communities, let's go say hypothetically, you're living in a community where you know other TIs who are legitimately other TIs. Different stalking groups have different playbooks. Oh yeah, definitely. I absolutely believe that. How's it going, Mo? How's it going, Jack? Um, I would say the playbook that I'm dealing with is the playbook of future crimes task force. So like we kind of did a few pop-up videos yesterday about preventative crime and that they explained kind of what's going on with them targeting people who've gotten in trouble in the past. And then now, obviously, nowadays you have a computer system that they put all your information in, and then we're just a number. You know, it's no different than working at a job. And oh yeah, um, hold on, let me reply to that if I can find it. Um, but yeah, so some people I think are obviously going through future crime stuff. Yes, presumed guilty until framed, or judicial community vigilance. Yeah, definitely. So I would say that like a person has been put into the system for whatever reason put in there. Like you could be put in the criminal justice system and they'll try you could be on 5 felonies and 2 strikes or something. I definitely appreciate that if you could get a hold of Awaken, and I definitely like to talk to her on here, or if she just wants to talk on the chat, but I really would think that'd be cool. But let's go hypothetically say that they're in the criminal justice system and they're just trying to give them life in prison, or they're just trying to put them back to that revolving door, or what if they're in the mental health industry or whatever, but they violate your confidential records and they slander your name, smear your name and everything. Um, but so getting back on how do we coexist, do you have any other ideas on how we coexist as being a person who's affected by gang stalking or a targeted individual or an empowered individual or whatever? And you should more than likely not want to claim victimhood. You should want to raise your spirits up and raise your levels up and start feeling a little better about yourself. Um, but and yeah, that would be cool if Awaken came on. I would definitely like that. I haven't talked to Awaken in a long time. And I'm going to show another video in a second. So it's another one of the Mac and Dog presentations.
Stay tuned, because today we're diving into the wacky world of harassment tactics used against targeted individuals. Welcome to the latest episode of Truth Unmasked.
Hey folks, Dog here, and trust me, this one's going to leave you both scratching your head and a little more informed. Let's get started.
First up on our bizarre list is fake coughing and sneezing. Dog, you've done some research on this. What's your take?
Actually, Mac, I find it pretty ridiculous. I mean, do people genuinely believe that fake coughing can intimidate someone? It seems more like they're just trying to get attention in a very childish way.
Yeah, it does come off as childish. But you see, if we consider the psychological impact, maybe they're hoping to make the TI feel isolated or paranoid, though personally, I can't see it being effective long term.
Exactly. I doubt it achieves much beyond making them look foolish. It's almost laughable, to be honest.
Moving on, let's talk about wearing specific colors. This one's like something straight out of a spy thriller.
Oh man, color coding harassment? Really? It seems highly paranoid and nonsensical. Are they trying to play some weird game of dress up?
Well, when you think about it, the idea could be to send a subliminal message. But honestly, who's going to notice or care about colors in such a meaningful way?
Right. I mean, unless you're hyper-vigilant, it's unlikely that this color tactic would have any real impact. It's more confusing than anything.
Now, street theater is where things get really absurd. Perpetrators staging bizarre scenarios in public. What's the deal here?
It's like they're auditioning for some amateur dramatic society. The coordination required is impressive, but the purpose? It just makes them look ridiculous.
True, if the goal is to unsettle the TI, they might succeed. But it generally feels more like a spectacle than harassment. Curious intentions.
Can't disagree there. Theatrics can draw attention, but often for the wrong reasons.
Let's address another tactic. Noise campaigns. These are aimed at disrupting the TI's peace. But doesn't it also paint the perpetrators as plain immature?
Absolutely. It's a tactic that makes the perpetrators look inconsiderate and childish. Loud noises can be disruptive, but what's the end game here? More questions than answers.
Right, it begs the question. Are they trying to provoke a reaction or simply acting out? Either way, it's not looking good for them.
Speaking of looking bad, let's talk about mimicking movements. This one's incredibly petty. What do they think they'll achieve?
It's high school bullying at its worst. The idea might be to mock the TI, but honestly, it just comes across as childish and ineffective.
Exactly. It's like wasting energy for no substantive gain. Moving on, invasion of personal space. How creepy can it get?
Indeed, following someone closely or standing too near is invasive and uncomfortable. What message are they trying to send other than, I'm ultra creepy?
Stalker vibes for sure. It's more about desperation than strategy, making the perpetrators seem off-kilter.
Lastly, we have the tactic of leaving strange objects around the TI's environment. What's the goal here, dog?
To cause confusion and paranoia, maybe, but it more clearly highlights their obsessive and irrational behavior. It's like playing a bizarre game with no winners.
Yep, it really underscores the irrationality. So, what have we learned today? These tactics are not only bizarre, but also highly ineffective.
Exactly. From fake coughing to leaving objects, these actions say more about the perpetrators than their targets. It's important to expose and question these absurd behaviors.
All right, that wraps it up for today. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to follow or subscribe to join us next time as we dig deeper into the truth behind the harassment faced by targeted individuals.
Take care, everyone. Until next time, keep questioning and stay informed.
Okay, so that last video I had was about them doing all the stimuli and all that. So, like, I know for a fact I have big coughing, key jiggling, and all that stuff around me all the time, and it's been going on for years and years and years now. I really wonder what the purpose for it is. I think sometimes like they'll grab things. Maybe it's like a metal object or something and slam it down and be hard. And I think maybe they think they're doing that because it's going to rattle your cage or it's going to startle you or and I kind of almost think like the fake coughing is kind of like mocking you. Like either they're trying to say like they're sick or they're trying to pretend like they got like a smoker's cough or something, you know? Um, and I smoke all the time. And I don't cough. I cough when I really cough. I don't pretend to cough whatsoever. Um, I think I actually like that little video. I just made the most out of the three I popped up there. So what did you say, Preston? You said, I've been up for a long time, got to go to bed soon. Just wanted to pop in for a minute. I used to get the fake coffee too. It bothered my spirit every time they'd cough, I'd feel it in me. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I kind of feel a little weird when they do it, but I don't necessarily feel anything can get it into me. I thought it was kind of weird though, because like I put a comment on here. I wrote, they give you bad shelter and they harass a person, at least they poison my food. I can only speak for me. And that was in response to Jack's comment up here that he says they walk all over everything now. I would guess that if you're targeted, the sense of powerlessness and despair is relieved by food and shelter, in which I could agree with that, but I think it depends on your situation. So everybody's shelter is different, um, and you could have people that are doing the same stuff to you that you stay with. A hypothetical person could, or they could incorporate your neighbors. Imagine you live in an apartment complex or something, and you live like in a downstairs. They could have your upstairs neighbor um, jumping on the floor or something, or vice versa. If you're upstairs, they could have someone with a broom banging on the ceiling, or maybe they'll have these fake arguments. I remember I was at somebody's apartment and they had this neighbor downstairs, and like they were always yelling and screaming at each other. And then their kid was crazy, and then they'd be yelling and screaming and slamming doors. And it was just insane. And then sometimes, like in apartments, they'll move people out and they'll do construction in the apartment. It's like they will go redo the cabinets or something, right? So they take all the cabinets out of there, and you hear them banging, drilling holes into the wall, and they'll do that for like, I don't know, like 2 months or something. It's like you could have had those cabinets put up in 3 days, maybe, probably even less than that, depending on how much work they got, because they might be doing painting the walls, they might be redoing the carpet or whatever. But then they do it every single time. It's kind of almost like they do it intentionally to upset the person that they keep moving those people in and out of that other one. So hypertension as a process, undoing the psychological effects of trauma is possible. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's just as simple as like they're trying to program us to be sensitive, to be hypervigilant, to be hypersensitive and stuff. And I think you could probably um, deprogram yourself. Um, I think I've learned a lot of things throughout the recent, what does it say? I like talking to you, Stephen. Thank you, Preston. You're one of the only people I can talk to about targeting. Yeah, PTSD, not PSD. Um, yeah, even the worst part that I see out of all these things is that you have these people, right? And like they'll know, like maybe they know you have PTSD or you have what is it, CPTSD, which is uh, post childhood traumatic syndrome, or um, you have whatever an ailment, they know what your situation is, and they use that against you. So they'll try to re-traumatize you. Well, y'all gotta head to bed. I've been up since last night. Talk to you again soon, Stephen. Good night. Well, have a good night, Preston, and thank you for coming on the channel. Um, so, uh, what kind of ideas do you guys have about how do we coexist? through the process of what we've been going on through all these years that we put up with the ridiculousness, the lies, the slander, the smear campaigns, the community harassment, the workplace mobbing, the um, overt and covert harassment. And how do you feel that we coexist with this? What do you think? I know that some of the stuff can be like, well, we just need to be in a community that relates with us. Oh, and that's what I was trying to say earlier. So let's just say hypothetically, like you lived in a community and you guys had um, other targets that live near you, right? Well, wouldn't it be more feasible if you guys knew each other, like you were legit and you were good, genuine people and you're real? And wouldn't you rather live in the same community as a targeted friend? And then now let's say there's two of you, right? So you guys move into this apartment complex and there's two targets in the apartment complex, and then you guys meet more people who are actually targets and you guys all live in that community, you know, and then you might even share jobs with one another. One person gets a job, the other person refers the other person to the job. And so that's a way to coexist. It's you coexist with one another, not necessarily in the same house, but you can be in the same neighborhood. Um, and you guys kind of watch out for each other. And then same thing with work. You guys watch out for each other, you help each other out, and you make sure that you don't involve yourself in the smear campaigns, the slander, the lies, and all that. And you let the other person know what's being said about it, and I'm not saying put fuel on the fire. I'm saying just let them know who they can and cannot trust, you know. Um, you don't need to aggravate a situation. So I think that's a scenario if it's possible, because I don't think all of us have that possibility. Um, and said, I am over this. Do you want to discuss another topic, Steve? We have sailed to another state and province. Yeah. What topic would you like to talk about, Ma? Well, y'all, I got. Uh, man, right. I guess I'm gonna go take these off. Right. And are you still on here? Okay, your traveling to another state was a difficult navigation, was it? I, yeah, there was something wrong with my, well, I never traveled to another state. That wasn't me. Um, communication. Oh, I mean, and me navigating on a cell phone, me navigating on a sailed boat. Um, well, I didn't go to any other states on a boat, but I did a lot of sailing and I really enjoyed the sailing. Something going wrong with my communication. Um, yeah, I don't know what's going on with your phone or with your communication, but um, when I did, you know what it is. They don't want anybody talking to anybody on my channel, but I used to do sailboat races, and I liked them a lot. Um, I thought they were pretty cool. Um, Sometimes we'd go out sailing in the middle of the night, you know, and they had that like you go sail your boat and you go from where my boat was, and you go out over to Gig Harbor or something, which is a different city, and you could it was like midnight or whatever, and you could see the bioluminescence trailing off of the boat. That was pretty cool. Um, but I enjoyed sailing. I like power boats more though. Um, are you? Well, it looks. I'm not even sure if you're on here anymore. It looks like they've shut down the viewers on the stream. Um, Sailboats like sailboats. I'm like, it's like a catamaran. Yeah, catamarans are pretty cool. Um, um, all of those. All boating's pretty cool. You know, boating's kind of like driving. You know, like when you're out here and you got all the chaos. But how sailboating is, it's like let's go say you leave a marina and you first leave the marina and you're sailing and you're kind of near the beach, you know, and you have the kayakers out there, so you got to avoid them. Then you get past the kayakers, and then you go, and then you got the jet skiers, and they fly in front of your boat, you know. And after that, you have a few boats that you deal with, and there's a whole bunch that intersect with you. But when you get into the middle of the bay, it's all smooth sailing. It's nice, pleasant. Um, Sailboats. No, I'm here, just having a little trouble replying. Well, I'm sorry you are. I want to club for sailing, and you have to take care of that stuff. Yeah, and you should. The first time I got on the boat when I got home, March just wanted to sleep. Yeah, usually. I was really trying, but yet relaxing. Yeah, and it is relaxing. Um, I I really did enjoy all that stuff over there, but it was just like it's hard to stay in a place where you absolutely feel isolated, and then there are people that are really on your side that like you over there, and then there's the people that just won't stop, you know. But that's no different. But it's like you hear everything on the water. Um, so um, for me, I lived on my boat from 2018 until 4 years ago, about 4 years ago. Um, uh, it was maybe a year after this channel got shut down, or kind of quit having episodes and everything, was when I moved out of the marina. Um, so that was about that time frame. I think sometimes you could hear the generator and stuff when you had your lives. Um, uh, yeah, you could probably hear all sorts of stuff. Um, I I didn't have a generator on my boat. I was hooked up to shore power. Um, and living at a marina is about the cheapest way too, but it's pretty hard to get a liveaboard slip. Um, they can only have a 10% amount of people that live at a marina that are livable. So let's go say you have 150 slips at the marina. Um, oh, generator sounds around me. Yeah, it got crazy over there. They started having boats with 1,000 lights on them, and I really felt like they were aiming all their LED lights and high frequency lights towards my boat. Um, but I was having a lot of problems. I was uh, I was feeling like I was being electrocuted in there one day. Like I was just getting zapped like no other. And I was like, what the hell is going on? So I went outside and I caught this guy outside of my boat with like something in his hand and he ran away from like maybe he had a taser and he had it up against my boat or something. I don't know. Um you got to go. I can't listen to something. Which lotion, since um, uh at least it wasn't a Coast Guard light. Oh, that yeah, that would have been a lot worse. Was he using a specific spot? I mean, what did you see? I wasn't sure what it was, but it was like some handheld device. Kind of almost looked like, like one of those um uh devices that you take alarms off of tags and for clothes. It was like the size of that. I wasn't sure what it was, but it was like the size of that. So it's like that big, and um, but it had like this metal thing that came out of it. But yeah, like I'd be in there and it'd feel like, man, I got hit by like a phaser in Star Trek or something, man. It was something. And it was getting worse and worse and worse as I was staying over there. So that's one of the reasons why I got out of there. And then they would like bang on my boat all the time. I'd be in there by myself. People would jump on top of it. Like I just didn't want to deal with it. Um, Phase, are you saying so is your whole body, not a specific ha 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 dog habit, a roundabout discussing TI stuff? I wasn't trying to. Does this make you tired? No, it didn't make me tired. It just hurt me. Um, Now I get tired an awful lot. Um, and I I blame that on getting the coronavirus shot. Which I'm not necessarily going to get into that, but I really believe that's the reason why I get tired all the time now. Um, Man with the juice. Um, so did you do much of anything today? No? I didn't do a whole lot. I was mainly at the place today. Um, I went out for a little bit. Some people are targeted in specific areas of the body. I feel so now I feel like it's on the top of my head. Like I get the like electrical pulsations there and I get it on my legs and in other areas I'm not necessarily going to say on here and in my feet. Um, but and that's now. Before it'd be just anywhere on my body. Um, but yeah, yeah, but that's where they hit you. Um, I don't know if they're psychic attacks, and I don't appreciate it. So, so But mm, yeah, I guess it could lower your testosterone. So if your testosterone's lowered, would you say you'd be tired more often? Yeah, probably. But then they could say, well, I'm just getting older. I'm going to be 40 next month. And so they're going to be like, well, it's just you're getting older and you just got to accept those effects of life, you know? And 4 years ago, I was 35, 36, you know? So, um, okay. Yeah, obviously. But it's not really a necessarily. Um, uh, that's not me. And that is not what I wanted to say. And I'm sorry, I just got done jogging. How was your jog? Good for us to do. I used to, when I went to college, I didn't jog when I went to college, but when I went to college, I was in physical fitness and then lifestyle and fitness, and they were both PE classes, and I would get on the treadmill for like an hour a day, and I'd have it at max. And 20 minutes in, I'd just be sweating down to my eyeballs, and it'd be dripping off my face, and I'd have to have one or two water bottles next to me the whole time. Um, I don't even have an idea how many calories I would burn, but I'd work out for like an hour on the treadmill. And then after I got done with all my cardio, then I would go do bench pressing and curls and all that other stuff. I was in pretty good shape. Yeah, yeah, it definitely is. And when I went to prison, I I jogged about 7 miles a day when I was in Walla Walla. That was an easy way for me to kind of like not be there, you know. So, but yeah, I jogged like 7 miles a day. But when you got all day to do nothing, you know, why not jog? And I did. Yeah, I'm serious. Yeah, but I was in really good shape there. Like, when I came back out to the city I live in, I was in good shape. Um, Yeah, definitely. And it's really good for your soul when you're in a soulless environment. You know? Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind jogging, um, doing cardiovascular. The only thing I don't like is like when you do it and like you haven't jogged in a long time, um, it's you get really winded in the beginning. Like let's go say if you're doing free jogging, like just on a track or something. You know, you'd probably be winded pretty fast if you haven't jogged in like 5 or 6 years. And if you hit the treadmill, it'd be the same thing. 20 minutes in, you'd be huffing and puffing, you know. But if you stay with your routine, you'll get back into it, you know. Um, but yeah, no, that's cool. Do you do a lot of jogging normally, or you just do it every once in a while? You feel like it helps you with what you're going through with your targeting. I watched that, I know you saw this, so I like that video, so I was, watching that video, and it was interesting. Did you film that? Or was that a video that you had that, I think that was um, it was a, TI rally in Santa Cruz, was that in Santa Cruz or Sacramento? I think actually it was Sacramento. Um, but I like the video, and I like that there's actually people out there. Um, yes, I filmed it myself. Okay, okay, that's cool. Um, how many different meetings did you guys have over there? Was there a bunch of them? I've never ever, like I knew there was a whole bunch of stuff going on at that time frame, like stuff like that in California. Um, but there was nothing up here in Washington. I will tell you, like the Seattle area is it's target or it's gang stalking galore out here. Yeah. Like no ends at ifs, ands, or buts um, about it. Um, there was 100 TIs, and we had two different support groups in the Bay Area. Okay. So it's really too bad that we didn't have anything like that over here. Uh, well, I think it would have been really beneficial. Um, even it, like kind of on the coexisting topic, right? So like let's just go say you meet these people at these rallies and they're legitimate targets and they're really going through something, and you guys could go hang out with each other. And I know nobody really has much trust in anything anymore, but maybe you could go do things with one another or, hang out with each other. Um, and if people are isolated, that's something that's a necessity. Um, Very much so. I was told the other day, you don't really appreciate something until you don't have it no more. I used to hang out with a lot of people, um, a good amount of people, and I used to hang out with so many people that like I used to get called up all the time. I'd be like, oh man, not another phone call or something. And now I don't ever get called, unless it's like scam likely, you know. So, or somebody calling me up and saying, do you want to clear out your student debts? And I'd be like, I don't have student debts or something like that. It helps when you have a fellow TI to go out. Yeah, definitely. The harder thing is when it's nice to have that, but you've been going through this for so many years, and like you could recognize that the other person's going through it too, but then you're just kind of worried about what would happen if I went somewhere. But that's also why people also say just quit worrying about things that are unknown. Um, because really what they're doing is just fear tactics with you. So, do you have family? Yeah, I do, but it's not how it used to be. Um, and I have friends as well, but like nobody really answers me anymore. And it's a part of life. We get older, we have our own different things we do, but me now in my life, since I know what I go through, if somebody called me up, I would pick the phone up because, like, I really don't, like, I know what's going on with me, and I'd be like, well, maybe what if I was the phone call they needed to have to cheer them up, to make their day better, you know? And I think that's kind of how you got to think. You got to be like, well, I haven't heard from this person in a while, and even if I don't have the time, I need to answer that phone call because what if they're going through it, you know? But then I don't want them to necessarily dump their problems on me, but they need somebody to listen to them also. And it goes both ways, like if I'm calling somebody up, I hope they answer my phone call because what if I'm going through it today or something and I just need something to cheer me up, you know. And we don't have to talk about the negative. Um, it's really easy to get into those conversations, but we don't have to be there. We don't have to be in this negative mind state, because the world can get you there. You know, you can wake up in the morning. If you just take my life, for example, you're going to get followed by the police all day long. You know, that gets frustrating, but then you're like, whatever, you know. And then you could go to work and get harassed by a lot of people or belittled all day long, but just kind of stay in your own zone, tune them out, listen to your music or something, you know, if you can, and just tune that out. And then, you know, then you feel like you're isolated. So yeah, so that's where I'm coming from. It's like you feel like you get harassed all day, then you come home and then you don't have much of anybody to talk to. So if I can put myself and think that way, I could be like, oh, okay, you know, well, I should talk to this other person because what if they're going through the same exact problem I am, you know? The only time I get frustrated is it seems like I talk to people and they ask me the same exact questions. And like I ask them, please don't ask me those questions, and they still ask me. They would be like, well, if I told you yesterday my day at work was not good, maybe it wasn't. And if you ask me today, it might not be the same. Well, we ask me a different question, like, you know, how are you doing? You know, until the day I start saying, hey, you know, I just got a promotion. People are starting to treat me better, or, you know, or, you know, like I start giving you good news and start asking me questions about good news. Um, you could say, well, how's your YouTube channel going? I'd be like, it's going great. You know, I got some people on here I enjoy talking to, and I think I'm putting out good content, interesting content, and I think my channel's better than it's ever been. Um, the I just want my channel to get back to where it was, how we used to have regular conversations on here, you know, like how it was the other night. And that's how I really like this channel to be. Instead of specifically me just talking up here, I don't mind being the main host of the platform, but I don't mind hosting it. The only thing in the past that I had an issue with was when we had, let's say, like 4 people up here, and then people started arguing amongst each other. And so my future plans for that is that if we were to ever have more than 1 or 2 people up here at a time, it would be where we all have a certain amount of time to talk, basically. So, like, I'll talk, and then I'll kind of, you know, talk about my subject, and then I'll open the floor to the next person, then so on and so forth. So we don't get a situation like something that happened 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I can't remember when it happened, but there was like 3 people, everybody was talking over each other, and one person got really mad about it, and they had the right to be upset about the situation. But I don't want it to be in that format where it's just like this. I like the open format, but I don't want it to where like nobody is respecting one another. I want it to be where we all give each other mutual respect in the conversations. Um, do you have that many people you can talk to anymore, Henry? Um, and I appreciate everybody showing up tonight. Um, I think the videos I put on here were pretty decent. I really actually like that one about the fake coughing because that really does annoy me. But Who's all still on the chat? Oh, okay. That's good. That's important, especially if you enjoy talking to them. And um, I definitely not the same. I will tell you, previously when I was living at the marina, I hung out with a lot more. I did a lot more things. I really all I do now is I go to work and I go home. And that's all I do. And then I get accused of every crime under the sun. We hang out and they know about my targeting. Okay. How do they feel about it? Um, are they upset that it's happening to you? I would, a lot of people, they want to try to tell me they don't believe my stuff is happening or they don't see it. Um, I wish I didn't see it. so, so, um, uh, they're upset. I'm okay. I wish they should be upset about it. Nobody deserves to go through this. Um, and so I know you said you didn't want to do the chat with me tonight, even though I think it would be cool. But they have seen the documentaries about Leah Remini, the Church of Scientology, so they know what about contact stalking. Some of the Scientology or Sea Org or whatever. Um, which I was introduced to people that were a part of Sea Org when I lived at the marina, but they introduced me to all sorts of different things. Yeah, contact stalking. So you said tonight or tomorrow. Would tomorrow be available for you to do or not? Because I know you said you didn't want to do that tonight because I already had this video and you weren't wanting to do that necessarily on this video, which it would be available. But uh, I tell you, I missed the days before I knew what this was. 10 years ago, even if I was being harassed, like I'd go into Walmart 10 years ago and I'd have people follow me down the store or whatever. I'd maybe make a snide comment, but I just think that was a part of my life, whatever, if somebody's discriminating against me or something. But I didn't really notice how it is now, and it's insanity. But uh, but yeah, I don't even really even go into that story at all. Too many people. You get followed around everywhere you are over there, and they don't even got enough cashiers in that place. And I refuse to do self checkout. Um, especially since they accuse me of everything, you know. So I'm not going to have them accuse me of not doing it properly over there or something. Um, and but what is it that you wanted when you get on the live with me? What do you want to talk about? Do you want a specific topic we talk about, or just your story? And I'll, um, like, I guess how we'll do it is we'll set up a time, and I want you to let me know you're available, so we can do it like that. And then I get off work at a certain time. That's why I do my lives at a certain time. But I will oh be up on here with you. And we can talk, and I will I'll let you have the floor. So if like I'll I can talk to you normally, but I'll let you share your experience. Let others understand what you're going through. Um, I'll ask you some questions or whatever, but I'll let you have the whole floor. And then after you're done with that, if you have questions for me, um, we'll do that. Um, so I think that's the way it should go. And I'll give you the greatest respect up here, and I appreciate you coming up here, and I look forward to that. But we really need to have better communication, just because it's kind of hard for me to communicate with you on through one of my previous messages, or at least if you make a comment on a video of mine or something that's more recent, so I don't have to go 20 messages or 20 videos down. Because if you notice, I keep going on that one particular one with the fake car accident, the crisis acting thing, But um, um, so what's the most annoying thing in your opinion that you have to deal with in this? Because definitely it's not the people with the color coordinated, all the people walking around you with red. Definitely don't think. But just okay, we can just do the audio. That's just fine. I think what you do, like I'll go, like I do the invite, like right here, right? And then from this invite, I post this up here, right? And this isn't happening tonight. We know that. But so I put this invite up here and you click on it, all right? And it takes you to the page. And I believe when you go to that page, I don't know if I can click on it and I can show you. No, that's not. I don't think it'll do the same thing for me. Let me go show it. Make copy link. Um, no, I don't even have it available. No. I guess I can just type it in. Oh, no, I guess you want to come on. All right. How's it going?
Can you hear?
That's
Hey,
how you do it. Yeah. Hey, what's up?
Hey, Stephen, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm doing my best. So thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
See,
no problem.
you do it just like that. So, so
Yeah.
how are you doing tonight?
How come it's echoing?
I think you got to turn your volume off or turn it down. Do you have it on more than one device? Do you have it
How's
on?
this?
Is that better?
Wait.
Do you have like a TV on that's loud, or do you have your volume up loud?
No, I have the volume turned down.
Okay. Can you can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, did you want to do this tonight, or did you just want to talk for a second since you jumped on?
Uh, I think I would, I'm comfortable doing the talking and then tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, tomorrow sounds good. Is there anything? What would you like to talk about tonight? Okay, so you were saying you're going jogging. And you said
Um,
that helps
so I
you.
don't remember, I think the last question that you asked.
What do you mean? I think we were talking about. I was talking about if you had anything loud in your background. I think that was the last question I asked. But so yeah, I think I was trying to figure out what
So
was
yeah, there's the
creating the
TV
echo. Yeah. But that can create interference. Um, like, or if you are playing it on a computer and you're playing it on your phone, or you have speakers but they're loud, they can create that too. But do you just jog, or do you jog and work out?
Okay. I just I used to work out and
Yeah.
jog,
Yeah.
but I stopped working out.
Oh, okay. So it's just jogging now. Yeah, it's good to do that. Does it get kind of clear your headspace?
Yeah,
Like it just gets you to forget what you're dealing with.
yeah, it has. Yeah, that's exactly what it does.
Yeah. That's what it kind of did for me. A lot of people encourage me to work out. I have a really physically demanding job, and like I tossing and turning at night, so I couldn't imagine how I'd feel if I got off of work after doing what I do. And then I already am in pain, and then I go work out for like 2 or 3 hours. I think I'd be in
Yeah,
agonizing pain. I think I would be, you know, because I do physical labor.
yeah.
So, which is good for you. It's like I work out for 10 hours a day.
Well,
Yeah. So, I do a lot of welding, but when you weld, you
and
handle
you
a lot
get
of,
paid for it.
I I get paid okay. I'm underpaid in my opinion for what I do. But it's a great job, and there are people out there that that do that get paid very well. Um, there's people that get paid double what I get paid, but
Yeah. I had a I had a friend that was a welder, and I know she was actually she got really good money.
oh yeah, yeah, they can. You can get paid at least over here. You can. There's welders making 45
Because
and
she
$60
would,
$60 an hour. I don't make anything near that. 'Cause that's not my title. So, but that's what I do.
yeah, she would bid for a contract.
Oh, okay. Oh, so kind of like she went to different places and she welded, or was she subcontracted? Like worked at a place but worked for a different place? Well, she probably did
Yeah,
all right. It is good money in the field. It definitely is.
yeah. She would she had her own welding company.
Oh, that's cool. That's pretty cool. You can, there's all sorts of stuff you can do with fabrication. Like you can fabricate stuff. You can do repair work. Um, they have welding shops where they do like fabrication for buildings. They have you could like work on cars. When I did auto body, I was the welder at the auto body shop I worked at, and I welded all the time. Over there, I didn't just weld, but that was the huge thing I did over there. There's a big difference between welding on a car
Yeah,
and welding on structural steel because, like, if you weld on a car, you got to pay attention to heat displacement. Otherwise, you could be working
yeah,
on the side of a car and then you cave the roof in, you know. So, but I really liked doing auto body. I thought it was a pretty cool job. Um, that's a good side thing to do. But no, I have a fair job. I would like it. I think that the profession's great. I'm not really trying to complain about it because I know some people don't have work right now, but it's very appreciated. It's just I am very financially struggling. But I don't know like what's the minimum wage where you guys are at? Like what's
I
the
think
average?
it's $20 is the minimum wage.
Oh, okay. Okay. And that's about that over here. I think it's a little lower over here, but everything's pretty expensive. Like if you so if it's like 20, then that's approximately how it is over here. And then you get 4 bags of groceries in the grocery store, and it's $150. That's a big chunk of change for nothing.
Yeah,
And then gas is 5 something a gallon. So it's pretty expensive on the whole West Coast. So, um,
yeah,
are you working?
yeah. It's gotten crazy.
Yeah, yeah, beyond crazy. Yeah, very much so. Is there anything that you'd be interested in knowing about me?
Um, yeah. Um, I was gonna ask you, how long were you living at the marina.
I lived at the marina. Moved in there in 2018, and I lived there until about 4 years ago. So I think I moved out of there in like 2020 or 21, maybe I don't know, 18, so 18, 19, 20, 21, it's 24, so no, maybe it was 17 I moved in there at the end of 17, so about 4 or 5 years. Um, and um, I moved there because my friend sold me a boat. And then I wound up getting liveaboard on there. And so I lived on a 27-foot sailboat for the first few years I lived over there. And then I bought a 36-foot sailboat and I lived on there for a little bit. And like the majority of my videos that I had back in the past they were on the 36-foot sailboat. They weren't on the 27-foot. But living over at the marina was fairly cheap. I lived there. Well, when I lived there, I paid maybe about $600 a month for rent for one boat. And that's not really that bad, especially like the average rates for a apartment out
Yeah,
here
it
are
sounds like that's
anywhere.
a
No, that was really good. And when I worked at the marina, I had my rent free. That was even better. But can you hear the bass in the background?
Oh yeah, I can.
Yeah, that doesn't usually happen over here. um, but so when I lived there, I moved there in 2017 or 18. I think it was 2018. And then a friend of mine sold me his boat, and I lived on that boat for a while. I still own that boat. And then I moved out of there and I gave my 36-foot sailboat to a person. I didn't sell it to the person, I gave it to the person. Now, I don't know if there's some other stipulation that happened with the person who owned it before me, but I bought that boat off of that person fair and square for $4,500. So, um, but um, but I gave that 36-foot boat away because it's just like kind of, you can't have two boats, it's just too expensive. But rent over here ranges from typically, let's say, like $1,700 to $2,700, depending on where you live. And if you want to live in a nicer part of town or not, if we're just saying like a 2-bedroom apartment and up, that's probably similar prices to over in California too, right?
Yeah, that it is the same price.
Yeah.
3,500 to 3,500 for 2 bedroom.
Jeez. How are people supposed to afford that kind of money? You know, like realistically, unless you live with multiple people.
Well, so the thing is though, it's like it's all based on the tech community because it's such a tech, like you've got Silicon Valley,
Okay. Here, choppy replies.
And you have Google, Apple, you have people that work in all the
So you're referencing in the like Silicon Valley area?
Facebook, and so you have people that can afford that kind of rent.
Yeah. Okay. What about like other parts over there that don't have as much money coming in? Are is the housing as expensive over there? Like maybe in I don't know.
It's pretty expensive, but you can still find affordable like rent in Oakland
Oh, okay.
across the bay from San Francisco. So
Yeah. Yeah. Um, where you're at, is it a nice area? I'm not asking where you are, but is it a decent community outside of if a person is being targeted?
um,
I guess the environment in
yeah,
general.
it's okay. It's all right, but
Yeah.
but
My area, I would
you,
say if
you
I
still
didn't,
have like the the criminals.
well, yeah, um, they exist everywhere. Definitely, they exist everywhere. Um, and you see more of it if you watch the news. I try not to watch it if I don't have to. Um, 'Cause I try not to wake up in the morning and watch the news, because then I could just
Yeah,
wake up, then just like, oh yeah, I'm just expecting something bad to happen, you know. But yeah, it's like that over here too. It's like we have good parts of
yeah,
areas I live around and bad parts, and then you have a criminal element. Um, and then there's really huge drug problems around here. But at the end of the day, there's if I wasn't going through this targeting stuff, I think that it would just be just normal. You just go drive around aimlessly and it'd be all right. And because generally people are nice, um, but yeah, we have the same elements. I
that
think,
that's
um,
true. That's true, Stephen.
yeah, yeah. Um, and have you lived out that way your whole life, or have you moved around different places? I've lived out here in the state my entire life.
Um, I moved around a lot.
Yeah.
I used to live in LA for a while.
Oh, okay. Do you like it better over there than living in LA?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's a lot better in
Yeah.
terms of
Yeah.
transportation and getting around.
Oh, okay. Is it's because there's so many people that live over there, over in Los Angeles?
Yeah,
They probably,
see, so it's got a, yeah, because you kind of need a car in LA.
hmm Yeah, you need a car.
Because it's so spread out, and
Yeah,
their transportation system, public transportation system in Los Angeles,
yeah. Is it?
it's not that great.
Yeah, I don't think it's that good over here. I think they're pretty good with their routes, with getting there like every half an hour. But uh, it's just from what I remember, they they have breakdowns all the time. There's always conflicts on the buses. Just crazy stuff that happens on the buses over here. I don't know how it is over there. Probably the same ideas. Um, yeah, so it's easier
Don't
to get around
does
where you at.
But doesn't Seattle and Tacoma have a train line?
We have a light rail. I've never been on it. I haven't been on the bus system since I was younger. But they have like Pierce Transit and Metro Transit, and they have the light rail, which is what you're talking about. And I think they just recently connected the two. I couldn't really say because I've never taken it really. I grew up taking the bus my entire life, from when I was a child until I was 18. Um, and I was I've just had a car since I was 18 and up. Um, so I don't know much about the bus system anymore. I just know it's a lot of money. They used to use transfers back in the day, and you'd like spend 75 cents or something and have an all-day transfer. And then they started increasing it to like $1.50 per transfer, and then they made it to where you buy a transfer, and then every time you get on the bus, you got to buy a new transfer. And then they got this thing called the Orca card, and so you have to like put money onto it. Is it like that over there, where you have like kind of like a debit card to get on the bus? 'Cause that's how they do it over here.
Yeah, we have the same thing. It's like called the Clipper card, and it
Oh, okay.
allows, yeah, they and allows you to get on any transit system like BART and Muni and AC Transit.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah.
The Yeah, the BART system's pretty cool because it it pretty much takes you anywhere in the Bay Area.
Do you guys have like I guess a trolley system, like what you were referencing with the light rail system that they have in Seattle? Well, they have the trolleys and then they have the train thing.
Yeah, it's called BART, Bay Area Rapid Transit.
Oh, okay. Okay. And what is that? Um, is it expensive or is it kind of reasonable nowadays?
Yeah, it's pretty expensive. No, it's expensive.
Yeah.
You it's like what you were saying. You just put money on a Clipper card,
Yeah.
and yeah, and you just
Yeah, another thing we have over here, do you guys have toll road bridges?
So yeah, it's expensive. It's gotten even.
Like
Yeah,
there's people that like, okay, so like you have Tacoma, but then you have Gig Harbor, right? And then they have a bridge between Tacoma and Gig Harbor called the Narrows Bridge. And they rebuilt that, I think, in 2004, 2005. And they put a toll on there. And they said that when they were done with the toll or done with the repairs, how much money it costs for them to rebuild the bridge, that they wouldn't have the toll anymore. But it's been plenty of years after 2005, you know. So, but they still have a toll on there, and it's like $7. Like it doesn't cost you any money to go there, right? But there's no way to really get back to Tacoma unless you go across that bridge. So if you drive to Gig Harbor or any of the areas in that area after that bridge and you want to come back to Tacoma, you have to pay $7.50. And so, like, if you live in Gig Harbor or out in that area, you have to pay $7.50 every single day to cross that bridge. And so that's pretty expensive. And then they have that you have to have that to go pass or whatever. Do you guys have
yeah,
that
it's the
kind of?
same thing. It's the same thing.
Okay. You guys have the same stuff then, huh? It's interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
we have it's a thing called Easy Pass,
okay.
and it costs
We have
and it costs $7 to go from Oakland and to San Francisco.
oh, okay. So it's the same idea. So like if you're going from Oakland to San Francisco, you have to pay $7 every time, right? And if you're going from Gig Harbor to Tacoma, you got to pay 750 every day. So
Yeah,
yeah, that
but you
does
don't
suck.
pay anything. Yeah, you don't. But the
They
thing is,
charge
you
they
don't pay
charge you, right?
anything when you go from San Francisco back to Oak.
Yeah, yeah. It's just the other way around, right? You just have to pay to go from Oakland to San Francisco. Um, do you guys have things like over
Yeah,
here for camping?
and then it's more expensive if you're coming
I was waiting.
from Marin County and taking the Golden Gate Bridge, the
Okay.
going into San Francisco. It's like the toll is it's about $15.
Well, that sucks. Well, I guess I'm making a lot of money off of people. Did they do repairs on the Golden Gate Bridge? Or is
Yeah,
that just
they're pretty much robbing.
hmm. I was gonna ask you,
Yeah, they
so
did.
over here they have for like if people go
They did
camping,
repairs on the bridge.
yeah, they did. How long ago did they do the repairs on the bridge?
I think it was like about 2 years ago.
Hmm. Are they gonna quit doing the tolls after it's repaired?
Hey, Stephen, how come when I'm speaking, there's a lapse?
That one I can't tell you. It's probably lag. It could be my internet connection. It could be an echo. It could be your connection. It could be because the connection is being interfered with intentionally. Um, I used to have people on here talking all the time, and they used to boot my channel off. They would say that I violated copyright infringements, or they would say something. They'd do a copyright strike, or they would just do interference. They'd make it to where people couldn't hear what the other person was saying. There's a lot of reasons why there could be the lag. It could easily just be because I don't have that good of an internet connection, maybe. But realistically, it's probably just because they're trying to interfere with the program. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. And but I don't know. I don't have that answer necessarily. Um, I could tell you that a lot of weird things have happened on my channel throughout the time, and um, it's better that at least you get the lag opposed to they shut the channel down, then I have to reboot the channel back up, and then everybody gets back on here, and that's how it used to be, you know. So um, it's not seeming to be like that so much anymore. Um,
Did that happen a lot
oh yeah,
when you had your
yeah,
channel?
yeah, yeah. It happened an awful lot. Um, And I don't know if it happened because maybe I had some people on the channel that would try to get me kicked off, or it was because I was being monitored by whoever it is, the YouTube gods or whatever. I don't know, whoever thinks that they have the right to go boot your channel off or something. But the algorithm or the alphabet boys that monitor these videos, um, or a computer hacker. But yeah, it happened all the time. If I still had the videos from back in the
Right,
day, I'd be able to show you.
right.
I, I used to make a video every single day. So let's just go say if I had this channel running from 2018 to like 2021, um, at that time, 2020, 2021, I made an episode every day. There's 365 days in a year.
Mhm.
And if you multiply that by 3, 4 years, that's around 1,000 videos, right? So, um, but yeah, that used
Yeah,
to happen.
it's a lot of videos, content.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I had a lot of good content. And we had really good conversations like this. This is, like definitely when you want to address your story, I'm very interested in that. But this conversation, I have no problem with just having a normal conversation with somebody, you know. So these are the kind of chats we used to have on the channel back in the day. It
Yeah,
was just a
yeah,
normal
it's
conversation.
good.
Yeah, because why should we always be talking about targeting? You know, it's okay to be like, okay, this is my story. But then the next following
Yeah,
episodes, we're just gonna
exactly.
we're just gonna BS with each other, you know? And so that's what I'd rather do. I want this to be a safe place for people that are going through what we're going through to be able to talk to one
Hmm.
another and be able to just have a normal conversation. And it seems like a lot of the channels that are like mine, some of them do it,
Yeah.
but it seems
As
like
a,
they just,
I totally support that, Susan.
yeah, thank you. Well, isn't that like, if you're isolated, don't you want somebody to talk to that is interested in your conversation? You know? And so, um, but
Right. Yeah.
there's not enough of it anymore, Like, you go in, everything is, I don't know how it's automated anymore. Like, if you go into the grocery store, they just want the next customer. Back in the day, if there's no one behind you, they talk to you. It's not like that anymore. Everybody's like, go, go, go. And it's nice when you can have a conversation with somebody, especially if you've been by yourself for the last 12 hours of the day,
Yeah.
just in reflections of your own thoughts, you know. Um, but
Yeah. We live in a completely different society now.
yeah, that's for sure. Completely different society. It's like the way people act is flipped upside down. It's not, it's. I think we could just go back to simpler times.
Yeah. So the way I the way I look at it is the way I look at it is the world is turned upside down. What what's wrong is right, and what's right is wrong.
Yeah, 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 that's for sure. Well, you just kind of look at all the social media trends, kind of, don't they promote everything negative
And I
on there?
think bad behavior.
Bad behaviors condone. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, bad
it's
behavior is what's how would I word it? Um,
condoned or approved of, maybe, or normal.
it's almost yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's more yeah, it's normalized.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, okay, so like hypothetically think about this. You have music, right? So the FCC used to have guidelines where you couldn't say certain words on the airwaves, and there's words that you used to not be able to say on the radio that you can say now. Or you could look at cartoons, and probably one of the most raciest cartoons in the 90s
Yeah,
was the Simpsons, right? And now they went from the Simpsons, then they went to South Park,
yeah,
and South Park was really, really out there at the time. And then they went to Family Guy, and it's like no holds bar, you know. And even on like a network that shows those, they had certain guidelines, right?
yeah,
And they don't respect those guidelines anymore because that's all normalized.
hmm
So there's examples in the radio how things used to not be allowed and now they are. And the
yeah,
same thing with TV. And then you go beyond that and you go out to the general public, and people do stuff that they never would have been allowed to do in the past because people would have frowned upon it in the past, and they're like, oh, that's just normalized now, whatever, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah. Which I don't necessarily think that's a good thing to normalize
Yeah.
bad behavior.
It's a narcissistic behavior.
Yeah. Well, what? Normalizing negativity or bad behavior? So I'd say like a narcissistic behavior would be like a
Yeah.
self-centered
Like,
person.
yeah, normalizing bad behavior.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, and then go look at this. Did you guys have a defund the police movement over in your guys' area? Like we definitely did. I don't know if it was national, but over here we did.
Yeah, we
And
did.
yeah. And did your crime rates go up when that happened?
No, we did, and no.
And over here it did. Crime rates increased. And then they decriminalized people doing substances in public over here at the same time. And I couldn't imagine that's something that should be normalized.
Well, it's always been like it. No.
Yeah.
So it's always been that way in the Bay Area, where
Oh,
you had
okay.
a lot of homeless people, and then you had open air drug market and open drug
Yeah.
leasing.
And so nothing really changed in the Bay Area, though.
So
Yeah, you're saying.
it's like, no, not really, not necessarily. The only thing that I did, the only thing that I noticed that changed dramatically is the homeless population went up.
Oh, okay. And that happened over here also. Um, I personally, though, believe a lot of the people that are homeless, I can't say in the Bay Area, but I think a lot of the people that are homeless over here are National Guards and they're crisis actors. Um, I think there's just a little too many of them that don't look like they're homeless that are in the
Do
encampments.
do you so
You know,
do you believe that though, Stephen?
that some of the people are not homeless. Yeah, I do believe some of them aren't, and I do believe that there are a lot of homeless people. Um,
You
I, be- yeah, I do believe that there's National Guards that walk the street.
so okay, so that never occurred. Okay, that never occurred to me. It never occurred to me to think that some of those people were National Guards.
Yeah. Could you see how that might make a little bit of sense, though? Because you'd want your people on the ground if something
Yeah, I
really,
do now. I I I I can make sense of that.
yeah. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Um, I think that, you
There,
know,
there's well, I kind of feel like that's
I don't like if somebody's pretending to be homeless and they're not. Like, like one of those people that you see that are driving a Bentley or something, and they park their car over uh, at a store, and then they walk over to the side of the road and hold a sign. I don't agree with that. I think that's wrong, you know. But
No,
um,
I don't agree with that either. Do you
especially
do you think that
especially
there's another do you think there's another angle to that for them not?
what do you mean for having people that aren't actually homeless out there pretending to be homeless? Do you think there's a different reasoning?
Like a false pretense on acting like they're homeless?
Yeah, kind of like, well, you got the crisis acting in street theater, right? So I think some of them might be out there to pretend like they're homeless, but they're a part of your staged events. Um,
Yes.
I I think that some of them are over there because they're eyes on the ground for the military. I think maybe they have law enforcement that are confidential informants or that are investigating things that are happening at these encampments, and they go in there and they infiltrate them. Um, I think that I think a lot of different things. Um, just
Yeah.
because I've just seen it all, And the other reason I know that, and I'm very sure for a fact that they do, is because a few of the people I've met that were these actors that I dealt with in real life that I had to go to these programs with. I found out more information about them throughout my time, and the one person says they're homeless, and then I see their Facebook and they say they're in the Marine Corps, and they're talking about their active duty, So,
Now, see, that's really bad. Um,
yeah,
yeah, that's bad.
and I'm smart enough to notice that.
So, what is happening? What's
But
happening here
yeah, I think what happens over where you're at happens where
is,
I'm.
remember when the Black Panther originally started in Oakland?
Yeah, yeah, and then they had COINTELPRO, and COINTELPRO infiltrated the
Um,
Black Pine,
they
the
had
Black.
this program called the Ghetto Informant.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, that's probably very comparable.
Yeah, so they
Uh,
pretty much deputize African Americans to infiltrate the black neighborhoods.
yeah, yeah, they did.
And
And then
play as like confidential informants, uh, boots to the ground and surveillance.
yeah, yeah, they did. And they infiltrated the party. And isn't that how they took out Malcolm X
Yeah, they
using
did.
COINTELPRO? Yeah,
Yes, they did that. Exactly.
yeah. And they
COINTELPRO.
used
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's the example of them bringing people in to a party and then them allowing them to trust that person, and that person gets too close to them. And their goal was to shut the organization
Yeah, and
down.
that's why you got to be careful because
Yeah, that's why I don't get too close to anybody. So,
There's like a lot of TI groups. Yeah, right. There's a lot of TI groups that get infiltrated here.
yeah, yeah, no, they do. They do. And they do it on channels too. They'll infiltrate your channel. Um, and they'll try to find a way to shut it down because they know it's speaking the truth, and it's a message they don't want to get out to
Yeah.
people. Yeah. It's like if a person exposes the truth that's happening in this world, they don't
It's
want that
just,
to happen. But then if you started a channel like I did, I have to
well, yeah,
continue
the
it.
thing is that baffles me is that they can sit there and spend all this money
Couldn't they use that money in better
to,
better areas?
you know, target a person, take them down, create a smear campaign.
Yeah, and the person doesn't deserve it either. The person, the group of people, whatever, nobody
And
deserves that.
I definitely, no, they don't. They don't deserve it.
No. Before I started going through this, I just had a normal life and I was just kind of going D, 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 just wa- wa- wandering around, my community, going to work and just having a normal day every day. And one day they flipped lights on me and it was no holds bar. So, and I don't think I deserve to go through this.
Yeah. And then,
So, I don't think you do
yeah,
either.
and that's the thing. You were minding your own. No, I don't think no, I don't think you should. I don't think any one of us should.
No, no, none of us. None of us, because we know too much. Well, they shouldn't have gave us the information. You know, it's kind of the answer right there, right? But then now
Right.
you ask the question, why did they give us the information?
Yeah, and then
Because they wanted us to go through this program. It was done intentionally. Because they're not going to go feed you information with algorithms and show you the program and let you know about it.
yeah, to bloat their terrorist funding program.
Yeah, or try to make you be like the next guy that loses it, you know, and that's the goal. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, it like changed your screen, switched. It's like it's black, but it changed a little bit. That's what I was asking. But yeah, why would they feed you the information unless they were intentionally doing this to create something, And then you're talking about all the funding because it would require a lot of money to do this, what we talk about, right? An awful lot of money. And then if you're, let's say, a decade into it, 2 decades into it,
Yeah, yeah.
do you think they're mad that it never worked? You know? It's kind of the last
I
laugh
think
you get
so.
at it. Yeah. Um, I would say that to beat this program, the best way to do it is, when somebody says the best revenge is to live well, I think that's the way to do it, is because like they're spending all this money on you to do these ridiculous things towards you, right? To irritate you, to frustrate you, to try to make you go over the edge, right? But if you can find a way, if possible, to live well, and that's the sweetest
Yeah.
revenge out there, you know? And I know it's not possible for everybody, but it is possible. Everybody can possibly do that. It's just everybody has different circumstances, you know? So, kind of like me, I have a job and I have transportation, but they won't allow me to live anywhere. Like, that's my own. So you go put in applications for apartments and applications for houses, and they reject you. So then you're forced to stay where you're at, right? But they won't let you have your own place. So at the end of the day, if they're not going to let you have your own place, you don't have your own
Yeah.
sanctuary, you know. And with the smear campaigns they do, if they can prove whatever they try to do to you on a smear campaign, then they
Yeah.
try to cost you a job, right? So, which is obviously, if you see that they're trying to cause someone not to get a house, they're
Yeah.
trying to cost them their job,
Yeah.
well, what could the ultimate goal be? Their goal is to make a person homeless, you know? That's a horrible thing for somebody to try to make somebody because
Yeah. And
like
then I've always wondered though, Stephen, like when their goal is to make you become homeless, do they
yeah.
still continue the targeting or do they just stop? You know?
I think they do because like I've been at a place that I was working at a while ago and they would have homeless people over there and I really believe that people were legitimately homeless. And this guy was like sleeping on in a sleeping bag on the side of a building and these cars would come up to him and harass him. So I could imagine that guy might have his life might have been okay at one time, and then they got him to become homeless, and then they got him sleeping on the side of a building, and then they get these people who go beside him and harass him. So yeah, I do think that they still continue it even after they make that person homeless, just from observations I've had. So. Now that's
That's
not
really
necessarily saying that happens.
that's
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 evil.
really just that's really unsettling.
Yeah. No, it's beyond unsettling. I think that's absolutely diabolically evil.
And I think that, people like that, they're going to
I don't know what you
it's
do at that.
are
I don't know.
evil.
Yeah, they are evil, but I don't know what you do at that point, you know? Like, you could be put in that situation where you see it and you're not even able to help the person. I guess you could go up to him and try to cheer his day up, but other than that, I don't know what else you can do. I guess you can be the one person that is nice to them, you know, but I don't know why they do it. I do not understand what is wrong with the world
Yeah,
we live in.
I try to make a difference.
Yeah, that's what we should do. We should, if we can, even if it's
Um,
just like, even if it's something like you're at work, right? And nobody ever says you do a good job, right? And you see somebody doing a good job, you say, "Hey, man, you did a great job today." Just something simple. Maybe that doesn't make a difference in the grand scheme of things, but maybe you made a difference in that person's life.
mhm.
You made him feel better that day, right? You know, I don't, there's all sorts of things you can do
Yeah,
to make make a difference.
Yeah.
Even even helping people, being courteous, kindness matters. You know, I definitely try to be kind to people if I can, because I've gone through so much hell. I like,
Oh, yeah, it totally does.
yeah, you definitely gain if you didn't have compassion or empathy for other people prior to being in this program, I think you definitely do. At least for people that are in it side by side with you, you know. So, but
Yeah.
uh,
I've always, yeah, I've always been a, excuse me, I've always been a compassionate person.
yeah, yeah, I was always pretty nice. I was a pretty decent person throughout my life. Um, I've had my outbursts in life. I haven't been perfect. I don't think anyone is perfect, but I've always been genuinely nice to people. Um, but I think I'm nicer now than I used to be. I think I have a little more of a threshold on what I tolerate anymore, but I think I'm genuinely nice, you know. So, but I enjoyed talking to you tonight. I'm getting really
Yeah.
tired. If you do you want to come on here tomorrow and say your story, or do you have a different day you want to do that?
Yeah, yeah, I totally do. I think tomorrow would be great.
Okay. All right. Uh, maybe around 7. Is 7 all right for you?
Okay.
Would 7 o'clock be okay for you
Yeah, that
tomorrow?
sounds good.
Okay. Well, that sounds good, but I'm really tired. Thanks for coming on. So, but
I'm
I'm
just,
gonna,
Stephen, I just need to, yeah, I
yeah,
appreciate you having me on.
yeah, you're welcome. I appreciate you being on here tonight and talking. Um, so thank you for coming on tonight. And 7 will be good tomorrow, and thanks
Yeah,
for coming on here. So,
yeah.
I can't really
Thank you,
help that I'm
Stephen.
tired. So, you're welcome. Have a good night, and thank you for coming on.
Awesome.
Yeah. Have a good night. And
Okay,
thank. All
you
right.
too. You have a good night, Stephen. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. So, have a good night, and thank you everybody else who showed up to the program tonight. I'm super tired, so um, thank you, Henry, for coming on tonight. Thank you, Mo. Um, thank you, Preston, for coming on the show tonight. Um, thank you, Jack. And thank you, everybody else that watched the program tonight. I think it was a good program. I really appreciate that you came on here tonight, Henry. And I got to get off the channel. So have a good night, everybody.